Everybody is being pushed towards optimism, and you might be saying I don't feel very optimistic, but that's the whole point. I think that there is a lot of stuff, and there will be a lot of things that go on between now and 2033, as I've said, that will make us not feel optimistic. But really, the trick is that we have to force ourselves to be optimistic. And the people who do that, mark my words, will end up in a much better position in the future. So I would make sure that you are doing things to stay optimistic, to stay hopeful, to stay, in a good place. And if you do that, things will go well.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back finally to talk about Iran. War, destruction. It's all over. We're all going to die. My name is Brendan Lee O'Connell. I'm 54 on the run in Mexico. I have lived and worked in Iran.
Well, hi, it is December the 26th, and it's my first news report from Hansa, Tehran, 500 kilometers south of Tehran.
Speak English, and he responds in Persian.
Yeah, this is Brendan O'Connell, the bell tower boy, in Tehran, the head of the funeral procession for former President Mr. Rafsanjani. And even Beirut.
Okay. Yeah, Hezbollah area. Okay? I said it.
Yeah. You have never heard of me, but that's okay. But I have something to say about Iran. I was there for 3 months. Iran Press TV wanted me to do a travel show. I kept saying, I thought we were going to talk about Israel, but all they did all day was talk about Saudi Arabia and how much they hate Arabs because Iran and Israel are one. They work together extremely closely. And I'm going to explain all this to you. Make it very, very obvious. There is no mystery. They've worked together since forever.
Finally, after Muchos fucking screaming and yelling, saying, I don't know what Iran's up to, but you had a stupid Holocaust conference under President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, who I love and respect and admire, the barefoots of South Tehran, the Shahids, the martyrs who shed their blood, so the fucking sports car buying rats of fucking northern suburbs, Jewish, can buy their fucking luxury European cars. That's another story. No shortage of anything in Iran, I can tell you that right now. But you have a Holocaust conference? You invite Dr. David Duke, former Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. Who advised you on that one? So I'm sure David Duke's renounced it, but it doesn't matter. It's all about optics, and the optics don't look good. But none of you here thought to mount an Israeli intelligence activity conference? Phil Giraldi, Dr. Alan Sobrowski, maybe Dr. Steve Pashenik, Kevin Barrett, Christopher Bolin, the king of research on this subject. None of you thought to have a Israel did 9/11 Israeli intelligence conference? I got to tell you. So they hooked me up with the Persian Gulf Studies Centre, Mr. Parsapur and others. Wonderful people, great people, but they don't speak fucking English. How am I meant to organise this? And I got this prat who looks like he's on Zoloft on heavy dose of selective serotonin uptake inhibitors. He's like, man, and he laughs at you and mocks you. He's like, what's wrong, man? I think you're a little bit mentally stressed out, man. He is the arch manipulator. You know, the guy who torments his wife? Then his wife goes off in the street and he says, look, I'm sorry, I apologise on her behalf. She's very emotional. You ever met men like that who do that? Mess with women's heads? That's what he's like. Seriously done my head in. It's like, can I catch a break here? So he's my bridge into this world. I begged for weeks and weeks when I first got here. I need to do an intensive Farsi course. I need to be able to communicate. Yeah. Every positive move I've tried to make to integrate in here and move forward and meet people and network and move forward on, is particularly Jewish racial and religious supremacy, has been stifled, whether deliberately or through dickhead omission, I don't know. I met 2 intelligence guys, one Colonel Hosseini, obviously intelligence people, 3 hours they grilled me, with Homayun Lashkari there. They embraced me, kissed me and said, thank you for standing up for the Palestinians. I actually had a little cry. I was so, like, someone actually appreciated something I did in a government department. They were checking me out thoroughly. I think they'd been told I was mentally ill and, you don't want to mess with this guy. Apparently, I do believe they were told there's an Australian citizen who is mentally ill. They sussed me out and said, you're fine. We're happy for you to stay. They said, do you want political asylum? I said, yes, but I didn't. That's another story. We'll talk about that in a second. We embraced and they said, thanks, we'll get back to you. He also said, and I quote, that ideology has no place in this world. And he's talking about Orthodox Judaism. In the military academies, there's things called yeshiva military academies where ultra-Orthodox Jews go to train. They receive instruction, the nuts, the stuff they read out of the Babylonian Talmud, the Shulchan Aruch. These are books of the Mishnah or oral law. They are lunacy. They make Adolf Hitler and National Socialist ideology look tame. They're told to slaughter the Palestinians as they're animals, they have no soul. Anyway, I could go on. These are the Yeshiva military academies, and these are very dangerous because you have Australians. It's a bit like ISIS. Everyone would be very worried if, as Australian Muslims, are going to train with ISIS. Well, we have a very big problem with Australian Jews going to train in the Yeshiva military academies where they receive training in special forces training. They get their combat pilots from there. They want the best of the best from there. The most committed ideologues to the Israeli state. Explosives training, firearms training, so on. Electronic data intercept, specialists in hardware, software development, all sorts of stuff. They then go from there, and guess what? They come back to Australia, and then they get into our private and military institutions. All right, so the intelligence guys know it. I guarantee you the security forces, armed forces, they know it. But it's these fucking intellectuals and the fucking prostitute politicians suckholing everywhere they go because they want to be accepted. The Iranian government wants to be accepted. See, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad didn't give a damn about being accepted. So I loved him. But this new moderate lot, I don't know how much is in their Swiss bank accounts, man, but there's something very fucking wrong here. I can't get Iranians, on the surface at least, interested in this subject. I had to beg and squeal and scream. That's what I came here fucking for. I'm not a fucking tourist. I'm here on business. And I can't get any fucking business done. And I've been patient, and I've been waited, and I've been smiled, and I've done these little videos for him. I'm at Rachel Corrie Street. I'm up in, you haven't seen the ski fields one yet? It's done my fucking head in. Anyway, I've got this video. I'm going to do further ones when I get back to Malaysia. Got to be a little bit cautious. Malaysia hate Australia, but it's not as safe as it is here. I just want to get the fuck out of here as soon as possible. I've got a lot of things to organise. Signing off for now. Catch you later. Yes, I'm pissed off.
Just like when they killed King Faisal, 1975, that was Kissinger when King Faisal refused to back down and say, you must stop this Zionist movement in Palestine. This is from a Rockefeller memoir, page 276, about King Faisal. Faisal feels our policy in the Middle East is dictated by US Zionists and is entirely pro-Israel. It is driving more and more of the Arab nations away from us. He is convinced that it is this policy which has given the Soviets a growing foothold in the Middle East. He feels we have actually encouraged radical elements in countries to overthrow more conservative regimes. Faisal is convinced the US is steadily losing friends and influence in the Middle East. Our only friends now are Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Jordan, Lebanon, Tunisia and Morocco. If the war with Israel persists, we will soon have none at all. Faisal's views on Israel were frankly bizarre. Faisal believes that all the troubles in the Middle East stem from Zionism and Israel. He says most of the Jews in Israel come from Russia, that communism is a product of Zionism, that the Israelis are a godless people, that Israel is a socialist state which only pretends friendship with the United States, and that Israel and the Soviets have a secret understanding whereby all of the Arab world is to fall into communist hands. Faisal dismissed my attempt to counter his argument, but Faisal also said he had no desire to push Israel into the sea. There was now an element of flexibility in the Saudi ruler's position that had been missing previously. As I left the meeting, I reminded Faisal that I would report the essence of our conversation to President Nixon. The King responded by saying that the former governor of Pennsylvania, William Scranton, had made the same offer to him a year earlier and had publicly supported a more even-handed US Middle East policy. The public outcry, Faisal noted, had all but ended Scranton's political career. He hoped I would not suffer the same fate. And we know what happened not too much later with Nixon. So Kissinger had him killed by his nephew by 1979. So they put in the hardcore Wahhabist theocracy there. Then in 1979, they put in the hardcore theocracy in in Iran. And he came out of where? Where did Ayatollah Khomeini come out of? I'll repeat it for the 400th time. He came out of a Paris commune, not the deserts of Iraq. He came out of a Paris commune. A commune, not a Paris hotel, a Paris commune. There's a reason for that. And he was followed by a German intelligence film crew.
He said that even if he were, he expected either to be assassinated or to lead his country. But at 10 minutes to 10, Khomeini was being helped down the steps of his chartered Air France jet to set foot on Iranian ground for the first time in 15 years. His first moments were uncomfortable ones, became increasingly nervous. Khomeini's name was the rallying cry that brought down the Shah, and now to his followers waiting outside the airport, he's the implacable opponent of Dr. Bashtiar's government.
These are very simple, self-evident things you could work out for yourself, but Nobody really thinks for themselves too much these days. They just listen to whatever suits themselves and go with the current narrative. If they're making money off going, oh, the poor Palestinians, they will make money out of crying for the Palestinians, but never offer a solution, as we have done for decades. That's why you never hear about us or get cross-promoted by anyone. And how many Muslims have we had come to us and then suddenly they say, who is this guy? Send me some links. Never hear from them again, ever. No, I'm not exaggerating. We never hear from them again. Capiche? You're right. Because most of these people work for intelligence agencies, they work in groups and they're handled. It's not my imagination. I'm not dreaming this up. It's the way the system works. Ask Patrick Berge. It's totally sewn up. The truth is very easy. Try getting the truth out of these mongrels.
Privatized data analytic companies contracted to the US and Israeli intelligence community, such as Danology and General Jones, with whom Roger Stone had a close association.
Explain it, because it does hurt my feelings. Explain why you wouldn't come here first.
I'm the pioneer of IIA, basically social media fake news. The last place that I'm going to go is a organization called Information Warfare, right? So our number one partner, and this is 2008, 2009, 2010, our number one partner. Hell, we were McCain's IT security company and social media company during the '08 primary. We were replaced in a subprime shift with Paul Manafort and Roger Stone, right? So your partner is someone who was who is close personal friends to my boss, Jim Jones, his dad, General James Jones, and Dynology, the company I worked for, when I'm helping them make these flyers, didn't have any salespeople. And 3ED.
But explain that to people, because I know that General Jones was involved consulting Trump early on. And I know he has some involvement because Stone goes around and works with all these groups.
Understand this Patrick Berge quote.
Sure. If it benefits them to attack Trump, they will attack Trump. If it benefits them to use Trump to hurt their enemies, they will use Trump to hurt their enemies. It has nothing to do with
politics. It's all very sociopathic.
It's nothing to do with politics. It's all about power and profit. People got to get the politics out of their mind with this. Once you can accept that, it starts making sense.
This guy has the two tactical nuclear weapons of modern politics. He has unlimited money. And when I say unlimited money, he is a guy that could write a $250 million check in 5 months and it doesn't affect his lifestyle. Okay. I don't know of anybody else in the world that can do that. Number two, he has a powerful social media platform and he can bind what he binds and he can loose what he looses. He can put you up and make you a rock star, or he can bury you in the basement, because he's not a free speech absolutist at all. He can bury you in the basement and never to be seen again. He can bury you in the basement and never to be seen again. He can bury you in the basement and never to be seen again. There's not a centrist or center-left government in all the continent that could withstand the onslaught of an Elon Musk that backed a populist party.
Try your best. I'm giving you very simple information, as I have for many, many years, on Iran and other places. We all know that Hamas is a fraud funded by Israel and Likud, City of London. They're running around in five-star hotels in Egypt, Dubai, and Turkey, and we're all confused. We're all confused. No, we're not confused. We just go, oh yeah, instead of going, wait a minute. These are, Turkey's running for NATO. Egypt's totally funded by the US, billions of dollars a year. Qatar and Dohar is where that's their main hangout, in the five-star hotels, down from the same Starbucks that John Bolton uses. And I'm going to use my brains and ask a very simple question. So these terrorists are funded, as Bibi said, they're going to fund them, are running around right next door to the biggest US-UK military base in the region. In fact, it's one of the biggest in the world, just south of Doha. Simple question? Anybody? Simple question? Yes. All Islamic terror networks are run by Likud, they're run by City of London, they're run by elements of MI6, MI5, French intelligence, German intelligence, Swiss intelligence. That's how they get the funding between them and transfer the billions around, and that also applies to Hezbollah. How do you think they destroyed Hezbollah in 5 minutes fight? I'm sorry, where are the 100,000 missiles? Simple question. I'm going to keep asking it. Simple question. 100,000 1,000 missiles aimed at the ammonia tank farms, Haifa port, you name it. I ain't seen one. They're firing anti-tank missiles across the border. Going ooga booga, ooga booga. Have you worked it out yet? Simple questions, simple answers. You don't throw billions upon billions upon billions of dollars around the world without being noticed. Where are the money men? Why don't we hear about the money men? Why aren't they dead? Why is Nasrallah in a hole in the ground? Please, I beg you to use your brains. It's all fake and it will come out, I promise you. I said from the beginning that is the end of Hamas, it's the end of Hezbollah on October 7, 2023. People said, no way, it's the end for Israel. Well, there you go. What did I tell you? Israel will, and it's all over, bar the kicking. And they want to keep this going on because Netanyahu doesn't want to go to jail yet. And of course, the US is going to set up a giant base in the Gaza Strip. Thank God. Maybe they'll bring this slaughter to an end. I see Mary's told me that Eric Prince is complaining about Netanyahu trying to kill Trump. Oh, Eric is just on board. He says, my God, they've got their network all through the US government. Eric Prince has finally woken up, ladies and gentlemen. Fancy that. Fancy that. So, as we move on, Iran was just another City of London escapade, hence why Rouhani, who was the president when I went there in November 2016, with the foreign minister Javad Zarif. I stayed in Javad Zarif's hometown called Hunza in Iran. They were friends with that family and they were going to give me political asylum. I kept asking them, when are we going to talk about Israel? Are we going to have a conference on Israel and high technology? Yeah. And on it went until the lawyer was a closet gay who would rub my back, David T. Lashkari, and he would take drugs off his head. And also black tar heroin where he could barely stand up. And I just went, I'm out of here. This is just too bizarre. This is too fucking bizarre. Fuck Iran. Sorry, I love the Iranian people, but I'm not happy. I'm not fucking happy. That's about $80 Australian. This will cover the fucking huge fine I'm going to get for being a month overstayed. Lashkari, of course, will blame me and say we were in the passport office, Brendan, and we could have done your passport, but you chucked the shits at me and you got your passport back. Yeah, I did. After a month of fucking around, they were going to stamp my passport for 3 months. I'll tell you the story another day why I blew up at David Lashkari for the 400th time. The guy is a fuckwit. But on that day, in that particular, I said, give me my passport back, I'm going. And I thought I could leave the next day. I'd already actually been investigating it, but my money wasn't cleared. Then I realised, shit, it's over 30 days past the visas. That's $12 a day, Australian. That's over $350 Australian, which will be about the amount I'll be able to get out of this account in 4 days. So that'll cover the fucking visa fine. I'm going to now go write a long fucking email to David Lashkari and just tell him what I fucking think of him. I've already told him audibly. I've got recordings of him. And you're going to say, Brendan, you clearly have bad luck. God has not sanctioned this journey. You can't have this much bad luck all the time. David Lashkari is from another planet, man. Another planet. So stay tuned. We're going to head down here. It's Friday. It's actually a holiday there Friday. And we'll see if any cafes are open. I can write my email. These beautiful little Iranian bastards. They love it. Make coffee, not war. Trust me, they do not want a war. These are the nicest people you are ever going to meet. I'll tell you the problem with the Iranians. They're too freaking nice. Not too warlike, too nice. Fuck, I hope they do a conference. I won't be involved, but I hope they do conferences here. I really do. I love it. That's the same. I love it here in Iran. I fucking love it. Goodbye, 7 Hostel. It's a nice hostel. Only $10 a night. Australian. It's pretty good. Can get a little noisy, but many interesting people, a lot of English speakers here, so give it a try. I'm off to Hamid. I never get sick of seeing the mountains. So my last cafe in Tehran. I'm very sad to leave, but what can you do?
Well, now I'm going to my last coffee shop. Oh, this is going online. YouTube. No problem. Ah, he's not scared anymore. Okay, this is a good friend. I've forgotten what I was going to say. Yeah, I never get sick of those mountains, ever. So now cafe and last coffee. I'm pretty sad, but whatever. God's will. Well, as you can hear, I'm in Tehran, and you can hear the oppressive music of the Ayatollahs and the Imams playing. I've just stopped. It's really oppressive music. It's very trendy. Tehran is a very trendy place. As you can hear and see behind me, the women are looking incredibly oppressed. The music is incredibly oppressive, not trendy. They are crying for revolution. They want to go to LA and be porn stars so they can be free, drink alcohol, and get raped in a nightclub toilet. You can't see it now, but before they were laughing and giggling. I mean, you know, Tehran especially, there are more conservative places, but Tehran is a very trendy place. I'm sorry there are no raging coke-driven nightclubs here, so if you come for the nightlife, you won't get it. But if you're coming for culture, if you're coming for education, or to meet some intellectuals and interesting people, you should come. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. What can I tell you? God's will. Okay. Salam, Australia. Well, in Iran, Tehran, I'm heading to Imam Khomeini Airport. It is 29th Sunday of January. A shame, pretty sad that I'm leaving. Sorry, it's a little bit dark. Yeah, what a way to end. God willing, I'll get through the airport customs. My visa is overstayed. Long story to that. You know all about the lawyer and the political asylum application, bloody, blah. Heading back to Kuala Lumpur, hopefully with no problems in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, because they don't like to see people who overstay visas either. But let's just have to see what happens. All in God's hands, all that stuff. Okay, hold our fez, ciao for now.
And if you didn't know, Iran is full of drugs. It's not what you think. It's a complete fraud, all right? The only honest politician is Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. He's the only honest one. That's it. All the rest are Chatham House boys, you know, hanging with Tim Pool at Chatham House. You know, I don't know what to tell you, but, you know, Rouhani, again, 6 years in Scotland studying Sharia law.
Now, the British government has turned down an invitation to attend the inauguration of the new Iranian president, Hassan Rouhani, despite indications he wants to reach out to Western countries to reduce tensions, not least over Iran's nuclear programme. Mr Rouhani has strong links with Britain. He was a student in Glasgow. From there, our World Affairs correspondent Richard Galpin reports.
Glasgow, not an obvious place for an Iranian cleric and senior politician to study. But in the 1990s, Hassan Rouhani came to Glasgow Caledonian University as a postgraduate student researching Islamic law. Known then as Hassan Feridun, he received his doctorate in 1999.
Hassan Feridun, for a thesis entitled The Flexibility of Sharia Islamic Law with Reference to the Iranian Experience.
He'd done most of his research in Iran while Deputy Speaker of Parliament, but travelled regularly here to the university to discuss his thesis.
And you're best friends with Jack Straw and Lord Levi. Now, I'm going to tell you this once. That is literally the network of Lord Jacob Rothschild. Literally, all of these people we see today have direct links back to Rothschild. Even Whitney Webb, Russell Brand. These people have 1 or 2 degrees of separation from these people. Fancy that. Why isn't it we're not going on about Russell Brand's girlfriend and all his network and his anti-Christian behaviour? Now he's found Jesus. He's been a notorious coke fiend, sex addict, sex rapist since forever. Just like a Harvey Weinstein, just like Epstein. He was well known, but, you know, here we are. Now suddenly, of course, the deep state is after him. Iran is a fraud. How do you think Netanyahu managed to waltz into Tehran and remove 5 tons of documents, remember? 5 tons of documents. Just waltz them straight out of Tehran. Does that not strike you as strange?
Now, from the outside, this was an innocent-looking compound. it looks like a dilapidated warehouse. But from the inside, it contained Iran's secret atomic archives locked in massive files. Actually, they're a little bigger than this. Okay? A few weeks ago, in a great intelligence achievement, Israel obtained half a ton of the material inside these vaults. And here's what we got. 55,000 pages. Another 55,000 files on 183 CDs. Everything you're about to see is an exact copy of the original Iranian material. You may want to know where are the originals? Well, I can say they're now in a very safe place.
It's only strange when you don't understand that they work together and have done for a long time. Soleimani cooperated with Israel and the US forces in Iran forever. But 2IC, Paul Bremer, set the place on fire, created the insurgency that said if you sack the Ba'ath Party members, you're going to create an insurgency. The Shias are going to rise up with Iran interfering in, and that's exactly what they wanted, because they wanted to totally destroy Syria and Iraq and Libya, and they had on the hit list Jordan too, but maybe they'll get off, and of course finally Lebanon. Iran is never going to be touched. Never. There's not going to be any war. How much more bullshit do we need? Trump already told the truth about Iran when he said they rang him begging him not to bomb them. All right? I mean, it's just in people's faces and people just can't see it. It's gaslighting. You just slap someone in the face. I didn't slap you in the face. Trump told us, God bless him, told us straight off the bat.
Mr. President, I want to get back to Iran. We lost 3 service members last week. May they rest in peace. In Jordan, an enemy drone from Iranian-backed proxies launched that deadly drone strike, killed our heroes. What should be the proper response?
Before you go too far, would have never happened with me. I had Iran in check. Do you know, we hit them very hard for something that they did, and they had to hit back. They feel they have to do that, and I understand that. Do you know they called me to tell me we're going to hit a certain location, but we're not going to hit it. It's going to be outside of the perimeters.
Who called you?
Iran called me. Called for me. And they let us know, and we had 16 missiles went off. I believe it was 16. 6 or 7 failed in the air.
When was this?
This was prior to the attack on a fort that we had where they hit back. Do you remember when they sent 18 missiles or 16 missiles? 5 failed. They let us know, don't move. We're going to have to hit you back. Psychologically, we have to do that because we hit them on something. You remember. They sent 16 or 18 missiles, and we knew they weren't going to hit inside the fort. And the media was going, and now I reveal it, the media was going wild because they say it's strange. They're very accurate missiles. How come they all missed? Nobody was killed, if you remember.
Yes,
with all of those missiles, nobody was killed. Now, they had to do it because they have people and they have to show strength. So they aimed the missiles, but they said, please don't attack us. We're not going to hit you. That was respect. We had respect. When we took out Soleimani, you know, Israel was supposed to do it with us. 2 days before the takeout, they said, we can't do it. We can't do it. I said, what? We can't do it. Then I had a certain general who's great. I said, so, General, do we do it ourselves? He said, we can, sir. It's up to you. I said, we'll do it. But Israel was a part of it. You know, Bibi was a big part of it. And we had everything planned, everything, because what he has done is terrible. What he did to us was terrible. Killed so many of our soldiers. Killed so many people. He's the father of the roadside bomb. You know that, right? And Soleimani, we can't, it was just incredible. And al-Baghdadi, I wiped him out too. Yeah. We took out al-Baghdadi, the founder of ISIS, that nobody could find except me, and Soleimani, father of the roadside bomb. Yeah. Now, and beyond that, killed many people. He was going to attack 5 of our military bases, and we took him out. And we took him out without Israel, because Israel, 2 days before the attack, they said, we cannot participate.
I don't know what to say. It's all fake and fraud. And I said from the beginning, I'm not sure what's going to happen with Iran because they need it, because they have to keep what? The Sunni Arabs in line. They have a common enemy with Israel so that the UAE and Saudi and their managerial class, because the leadership are already in the bag, but the leadership class, the colonels, the bright young colonels, the border control people, the people who are pressing the buttons have to be brought on board, because that's where your revolts come from. So you got to tell them, man, the hadiths and the Quran, said that 70,000 Jews come from Isfahan, signaling the arrival of the Mahdi army and the Dajjal, which is the Antichrist. And Isfahan, of course, is in Iran. That's what they're playing on. And the atom bomb has nothing to do with Israel. Israel is actually feeding them the technology to begin the making of the bomb. That is to threaten Saudi Arabia. You hardly ever hear it talked about. It is to threaten Saudi Arabia with the bomb. That's why Saudi Arabia kept saying, well, we want nuclear weapons too. All right. Iran is there to threaten Saudi Arabia, not Israel. Iran is there as a proxy to destroy Arab, largely Sunni resistance, but also Arab Shia resistance as well, to take it over and subvert it, to destroy pan-Arab nationalism. That's what it's for. That's why they don't want to get rid of it. If there is any strikes, they'll be highly stage managed. They'll get to fly their B-2s, test some weapons, blow up a few things. Everyone goes, their beards flow in the wind, and out comes Ayatollah Khamenei and says, we have survived the onslaught from the great Satan. Yay, crowd goes well. The paid-for crowd goes well. And on the bullshit goes, because they need Iran in there again to corral the Arabs. Eventually, Iran will be in the orbit away from Germany, away from France. It has to be brought into the orbit of the United States. The Iranians hate the Ayatollahs. They love the Shah. I didn't meet a single person. I did not meet a single person who said, yeah, well, the revolution's not perfect, but, we have to fight. No, they all said, want the Shah back, hate, and they were totally open about it. Totally and completely open about it. Totally. I just went, oh, well, this wasn't quite what I was expecting. But anyway, and just understand the hatred that Arabs have for the Iranians and the Iranians have for Arabs is so great, it probably exceeds that of Israel, Zionists and Jews, literally. So this is the great playoff. That's why Iran has to hang around for a lot longer yet. Not sure how long, but it's got to hang around a while. So the great game continues. Trump's the most evil thing, of course, but the tariff war. This is a theme. This is a movie. You've got to have ups and downs. There's got to be trials and tribulations. There must be bright sparks of hope, and then you must be plummeted down. That's all over. The tariffs, the economy's going to collapse. And then eventually Trump will emerge the hero in this highly scripted event. They managed the war with Ukraine. They managed the war between Russia, and they're still managing it, and they will manage this tariff war. China has no capacity to wage war against the United States. China's going to beat America to the moon is the most ridiculous garbage. I can't believe they're still pushing the war power shit. What did they tell us in the report from Iron Mountain? The report from Iron Mountain said, we're going to keep them busy with war, threats of ecological disaster. Thank you, Greta.
Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth.
And what was the other one? Alien invasion. Reports of alien life forms. I mean, you can't make this shit up. So, here we are with the great game continuing. I don't know what the options are. We were all hoping it would be space exploration, would pull people together to a large extent with the US in the lead, but it seems the great bullshit War Powers Act has to go on with the enemy about to take over America. The enemy is within America. It's not outside. There is no enemy outside the United States. It's all inside, multi-generational. They've been coming into the US since 1917 and before that as well. They are 4, 5, and 6 generations in. They've attained the highest levels of government. They're in the intelligence community. They are in the FBI. They are in the think tanks. They are at Georgetown. They're in the universities. They are literally stinking everywhere, and this parasite must be removed. Targeted parasite removal. It is war, and it has to get tough. You cannot deal with these people anymore. All of them, they're identifiable. You've got their data analytics. The fools came up and felt safe to sprout their most weirdest ideas. They've got them all down. It's time now. Start with Rahm and Ari Emanuel. I'm still trying to work out Ari Emanuel. Apparently Ari Emanuel's handling Meghan Markle. Gee, well, there you go. That makes sense. And, the fact that Ari Emanuel has been Trump's agent for 20 years and the fact that his brother is Obama's chief of staff or former chief of staff, I guess it all makes sense. Both Israeli intelligence assets, as I have said 1,000 times, which you will not see repeated anywhere of consequence. Nowhere. That is the levels of control they have over the entire internet. The entire internet. However, things are going swimmingly. America, you will be great again. Perhaps actually you'll be more Make America moderately reasonable, perhaps for the first time. I'd say, what's that? Make America moderately reasonable, perhaps for the first time. Anyway, it's not Margaret, it's Mapfa or something. Just I'll take moderately reasonable, perhaps for the first time, with its constitution in the background, slowly being applied over the next 20 years. That is the dream. That is the dream. It's a tariff war. Everyone's getting in line because the US is the most powerful force on earth with the most powerful economy and $1 trillion military. Everyone will shut up and do as they're told. There is no fight. Everyone is completely under control as they keep this theme going. There may well be this year a blockade of Taiwan, but I actually don't even think that's going to happen. Xi Jinping perhaps will not be long for this world. What game he is playing, I have no idea. I am totally confused. He appears hell-bent on destroying his own country. China is not coping well. They have got mass unemployment. They've got millions of people who are literally missing, like there's 300 million missing people. Their cities are empty and no one's quite sure what's going on. How about a mass cull? They say the max population is around 800 million and the people have said as low as 600 million. They said there are millions, tens of millions of people missing suddenly. Who knows what the hell's going on over there? That's where they test all their viruses. That's where they... So when you say Fauci, I thought Fauci's going to jail. Isn't he about to be indicted? Q-tards? Trust the plan? You see this bullshit? You got to keep the pressure on. He's never been arrested. He's never been indicted, I promise you. I don't care how much pressure you put on, he's not allowed to be touched. This is the way of things in the world we live, because you can't just sell coffee mugs your way to victory. You can't sell merch and swag. You can't run a YouTube channel. You have to get out there and lobby and push hard and scare them. And seeing as none of you are doing that, the same bullshit will continue. The data analytics will tell them what to say. They'll come out, make a grand proclamation. We've solved cancer. We've met aliens. We've whatever bullshit they want to tell you via the data analytics. Donald Trump is an alien. Donald Trump has a 10-inch dick. Whatever bullshit. It's just this bullshit's going to go on and on and on. Africa's being interfered with, so we're back to the 70s with lots of dead Africans coming. And China's a running joke. And the same old games continue. Pluto is in the age of... Pluto's an Aquarius, people. It's over now. Nobody listens to tech now. You can't keep doing this. There has to be radical change. So here I sit, broken-hearted, paid a penny and only farted. You can see how enthusiastic I am because I'm just tired of it. Nothing's going to happen. The US economy is going to be fine. They're going to tell you. I can see Donald Trump is the devil incarnate and the economy is over with a big thumbnail. I will then look over here. It will be Donald Trump is the Messiah and everything is wonderful, and it will literally be the same theme, the same news articles, or the same literal article, or someone commenting on an article or a video, coming to two completely diametrically opposed. And I'm just sitting there going, what? It's all fake. It's all fake. It's all fake. I'll probably be dead by the time the movies come out and the documentaries where, oh, you've worked out it's all fake. Islamic Terror Network is a product of the City of London. It is completely fake, run through the Wahhabis they put in place after King Faisal. 1970s were a pivotal decade. Maybe that's what I have to do the voiceover on. 1973, what? Nixon, détente with the Soviet Union and Red China, with Kissinger, of course. 1973, same year, the founding of the Binational Science Foundation, which was to transfer technology into Israel, who then transferred it to Russia and China. 1975, you have the death of King Faisal, a noble man, the last of the great kings of the Arab world, and they replace him with a bunch of coke-haired, closet homosexual fucktards, hypocrites who apply Wahhabist Sharia law to their people while they fuck prostitutes in the ass in Paris, France at the Ritz-Carlton. And I know they literally do that because I knew a guy that was a high school teacher, taught like the top royalty in Saudi Arabia. And he said they're all into anal with blonde-haired, blue-eyed women and I just go, and they're all coked to the gills, and it's just a giant facade. Saudi Arabia is a disgrace, total disgrace. And Saudis are sick of being a laughingstock. They really are. But they're just a bank for the City of London, and they are allowed to live as long as they keep putting their money into the City of London. It's all its fault. And so 1975, 1973, you also had Yom Kippur War, and Israel realized that they were really unpopular and they had to come up with something. So they got Spielberg, and what did they start doing? Holocaust memoirs, Holocaust narratives, Holocaust documentaries. Before that, no mention of a Holocaust. It was just the crimes in the East, and there were a lot of crimes perpetuated by the German armed forces in the East. A lot of mass murder of Jews and others. Jews, gypsies, homosexuals, the managerial elite of the region, whether it was all the way from Poland right through into the Ukraine and elsewhere. They killed, 30,000 at Baba Yar, a famous mass murder of Jewish men, women and children. 30,000 shot in the head, and they did that 5 times in 5 different locations. Don't tell me there were not massive crimes in the East. As for the Holocaust bullshit memoirs and fakes, it's a load of fucking bullshit. And it's just a political weapon. As Finkelstein has said, it has lost all morality, all ethics. Shulnat Oloni says it's just a weapon, a political weapon. And, Finkelstein and Chomsky have said, it does a disservice to the memory of the dead to adopt a central doctrine of their murderers. But, because it's just bullshit, all right? Were there gas chambers? Possibly. Were the German National Socialist regime capable of a mass murder via gas? I believe absolutely they were. I believe without question they were, and I believe they may have done small-scale experiments, but there was no large-scale mass gassings. Didn't happen. It was bad enough as it was, and the German people have paid for the Second World War 50 times over. They lost millions. They were slaughtered in their hundreds of thousands at a time in the strategic bombing campaign on major German cities. After the war, they were treated like shit with mass rapes, murder, mayhem. They paid for that war, and it's time to remove the guilt from the German people. That's another weapon that has to end. So here we sit. That's all I have to say. Fuck Iran. There's no war. It's all bullshit. No one can stand up against the United States. It's the most powerful military in the world. It's so powerful you have no fucking idea. It's just a joke. I know a lot of military people, been around a lot of military people, spoken with a lot of very interesting military people. The shit they've got is just next level, and you don't know the half of it. You don't know the half of the shit they got, and it's just laughable. They just sit there giggling that people actually believe this bullshit about China and all the rest. China is never invading Taiwan unless the US elites want them to invade Taiwan. And they might possibly want that because that will then, they need enemies to threaten people to keep them in line. Like dogs on a chain. And if Australia gets uppity, the Crown Corporate Australia, they just let the chain loose and China starts coming down Taiwan. And oh, fuck. America as well, we've got all these crazy people. North Korea could be taken out like that, but no, it's good. They need Japan in the bag and the Japanese population scared. They need China. It's just the official enemy of the day. So instead of the US just picking up the sword and taking its power and say, we believe we have a divine right to rule. You can laugh all you like. We have the most amazing political document in history that talks specifically about individual freedom. None of you have that. None of you. So we believe we have a divine right to rule. Now, because the US is so divided now and there's been so much immigration, there's not a snowball's chance in hell they can get any, and especially the multi-generational subversion. You've got to start dealing with these people. I start saying, you do. It's not working anymore. Pluto's in Aquarius. I'm sorry, but it really means that things have to change, and it's not going to be slow, and it's not going to be gentle, and it won't be kind. US elites have to just start laying down the law. And they have to start telling the media that they have to stop now. Trump's a dick. We know that. We know he's a piece of shit. Doesn't matter. He's not running things. The Department of Defense is. So why don't you just stop with this horse shit? Everybody understands the basics of the economy. 2 + 2 = 4. Everyone understands that. So you have to say, we can't continue to run trillion-dollar deficits. Correct. At some stage, no matter how crazy the numbers are, it's got to come to an end. Can't keep kicking the can down the road. So there has to be a balance of trade. The reason America has been doing this is because America has not been run by Americans. It has been run by the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the Rockefeller Foundation, Carnegie Institute, the Atlantic Council. It's been run by the City of London. Those days are now over. Pick up the sword, America. Just tell everyone, get the fucking line, shut your fucking mouth. It's the way it's going to be. You can be a tributary, you can be a protectorate, or you can be an ally. Share the same values, get a new constitution. Tell people, get a new constitution that looks like ours, very similar to or identical to ours, with "In God We Trust." Get one. That's not a hand sign, I'm just saying. Just pretend the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. Get one of these. The individual matters. Freedom matters. There's nothing more. Freedom, that's it. Must be free. The people must be free. When's Trump going to talk about the dismantling of the surveillance state? He might say, not right now, but I promise in the next 20 years, you form committees and the rhetoric and public groups to say when we can, absolutely, we will dismantle this surveillance state when the world has been rid of this parasite that has infiltrated the synagogues, that has infiltrated the churches, that has infiltrated the mosques, that has infiltrated the Buddhist temples, that has infiltrated the education system, that has infiltrated the government, that has infiltrated the military, that has infiltrated the FBI, has infiltrated the DIA, has infiltrated the NSA, has infiltrated the corporate industrial structure of the United States, and on and on and on. This parasite must be removed. And it ain't just going to be Jews. 90% are going to be non-Jews. So there. So they're going to have to be removed. They soon start talking. I want to know everyone. Fuck the Constitution. Fuck habeas corpus. Lincoln got rid of habeas corpus. It's a fucking war. And here's what we'll know. Once everyone realizes there's a war and there's no fucking around, international and domestic. Oh, it sounds so extreme. Oh, extreme? Ask an Iraqi. Ask a Palestinian about extreme. Ask a Syrian. Ask a Libyan. Ask a Vietnamese. Ask the Koreans. Ask Cambodians about extreme. Ask 50 million dead Chinese. Ask 60 million dead Slavs. That's extreme. Needs to be stopped now. And for some reason, the American fucking... They just can't pick up the sword. $1 trillion military can't pick up the sword. The Houthis, just games. Let's just stop now. Who in their right mind, if they knew, okay, the United States is going to rule and is going to ensure that people who want to live freely can live freely. People who want to live under kings, give them somewhere to go. Give them Europe or something. Europe's beautiful. Let them have a king. We can go there for a vacation and watch everyone fawning over Prince William or the King of Sweden or whatever. That's fine. But we need North America, South America, Australia, UK, and Africa, at least, to be completely free. And the Africans were naming their kids in the 50s and 60s, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. They loved America. They adored America, and everyone hates America because this virus has taken over. And so I sound like a fucking extremist for adoring Luigi. I'm not going to look into Luigi, a man who doesn't know how to handle his silencer, but I'm just looking at the result where everyone's cheering. Thank God. No one killed kids at a school. No one killed a Jewish grandma at the synagogue. No one blew up working class people on a train. Finally, some effer, CFO, CEO, got a bullet in the back of him, in his back. Good. I don't give a shit about his kids. I don't give a shit about his wife. I give a shit about the millions of people he condemned with their private health insurance to an early death because he loved his AI. Fuck him and fuck everybody like him. And the sooner the data analytics see that, you realize that the people are just not going to tolerate this anymore. I mean, tolerating Scott Bessent, the Soros fund manager, who's apparently fallen out with Elon Musk. I mean, it's like, yeah, whatever. I mean, what's Elon Musk even doing there? I mean, I don't care how much money he's paid. Just tell him to pay the money and fuck off and be glad that maybe he won't go to jail for the rest of his life. But, to have to look at that thing one day longer. Bannon's talking about it. Bessent's talking about it. Where's the fucking money, Elon? Oh, where's the money? It should be an escrow. And to their credit, Bannon said the MAGA is not tolerating it. Where's the fucking money? Why isn't it an escrow? Where is it all? Where's the Pentagon audit? Hello? How many lies are we going to have from this fucking clown show? And the chutzpah, I mean, it just shows you the amount of drugs that Elon Musk is literally on, that he sits there with a straight face. Everybody hates his guts. Everybody cannot stand the fucking sight of him. Nobody. There he sits, protected on both sides. If the libtards wanted to get rid of Elon Musk, take them 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Literally 5 minutes. The guy is a walking disaster. His fraud is for all to see. His lies are for all to see. You just go to the common sense skeptic Just watch the Tesla playlist link below, and that is the end of any ridiculous garbage about Elon Musk, where they're still pushing, oh, it's all about AI. It's nothing to do with AI. He doesn't have AI. He has nothing. He has literally nothing. I don't want to talk about full self-driving with shitty, cheap cameras in your car when everyone knows it's never happening. Never, ever, ever, ever happening. And everybody knows it's never happening, but Wall Street Journal and all these other media outlets keep pushing that fucking retard. Sooner or later, someone needs to go to jail for fraud and for pushing a self-evident fraudster, but we're too busy complaining about libtards or, Tim Pool's in the White House. I mean, seriously. Look, everyone, the alternative media. Here's the alternative media. Same as the old media, but younger. I mean, I don't know what to say. I'm just too old. I'm a Gen Xer. I fucking hate you all. Yes, I drink out of a hose and run around in bare feet in 45 degrees Celsius days. On the bitumen used to melt and melt into your skin, but our feet were so tough because we never wore shoes. Yes, I am one of those. You are weak, pathetic. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how to describe the stupidity. I don't know how anyone thinks. Alternative media, Joe Rogan, Ari Emanuel, Israeli intelligence outfit, super agent. He's on 150 million a year. He just smokes pot, drinks, and looks boring as he takes his growth hormone and steroids, which distends his abdomen and all his physical features. And I'm sorry, he's a dissident. That's a dissident now on $150 million a year. Alex Jones, he's on $12 to $25 million a year flying first class. He's a dissident too. I know what it's like to be a fucking dissident. I know exactly what it's like. It's to wake up anxious every fucking morning, wonder where the money's going to last, always be in a state of anxiety, do every fucking tapping technique and you're just still in a state of anxiety. You can't trust anyone. All the governments are full of shit. And there's no need to kill you because they just get you sitting on the fucking internet talking to this stupid fucking camera with a bunch of people that aren't going to do anything. I'll try to entertain you. I hope I feel better very soon. Hope these aspects finish soon. I hope during the next month I'm going full keto as well. So I want to let my body slink into that. I think I'm going to respond positively to that. It's not for everyone, but I think on my third go, first time it was wonderful. It was the best I'd ever felt. Second time I tried it, I was not well, but that was because of all my other problems. Now I've got my shit under control, had all the right blood tests, which I was told to do 5 years ago. They said, do these blood tests. You have Hashimoto's. It's your leaky gut. And if you change your diet, you will be fine. And I ignored that for a long time. So, but now, not anymore. I will miss my chocolate mud cake. I will miss my cookie cream commotion. Cheesecake. No, these are not code words. I am literally addicted to cafes and sweet apple pie, cream, and ice cream, which is my ultimate. When the apple pie is fresh, the crust is thin, it's been heated up to a nice temperature, and I got myself some ice cold fresh cream, not whipped, fresh, runny, icy cold cream with ice cream. I shall weep at its loss. But yeah, this is my suffering. They got it bad in Gaza. I can't have apple pie, ice cream, and cream. Think of me. We'll see what happens. Hopefully I can hang on till December. After that, then I am looking at either, I thought Israel, no, I'm not going to Israel. Who would let me in 100%? I'd apply for asylum there. They would give me asylum, I guarantee it. I think I need to head back to Australia. For all of you wondering, oh, when you come back, Brendan, come and stay at my house. No, they're not going to let me walk through customs. They're going to arrest me and I'm going to bite their fucking face off. When I say that, I literally mean that. What I aim to do is to become the most unmanageable prisoner in history. I understand the law and I understand the prison system. You don't. Hunger striking and not cooperating and picking the shit out of your ass and throwing it at prison officers and covering yourself in it, it's called bronzing up. For you, that of course sounds disgusting, but for me, I'm such a fucking animal and so determined to make these fuckers pay for their bullshit, their lies, their constant fucking deceit. I'm thinking, why am I roaming around the countryside? It's time to go back and kick them in the fucking nuts. And they'll say, Brendan, calm down. I'm just going to punch his fucking face in. Maybe just punch him right in the fucking throat and just say, boys, it's on. Pull your guns. Tasers ain't going to help you. Pull your guns. Because that's where I'm at. So I'll see if I can last the rest of the time here in Mexico till December. See if I can get inside the Mexican embassy. They'll either let me in which case all I want to do is give them that thing. See if I can talk to someone and take it from there. After that, you know, I felt like this since I got to Mexico, like I was tired. After after seeing the Muslim world was completely corrupt, all their leadership are in the bag, which Muslims warn me about. I just, well, where the fuck do you go? And it was actually Henry Macau. Yeah, Henry Macau. I like Henry. We don't get on a lot because Henry's got certain views which I don't really like. And but Henry's a good man. I have a lot of respect for Henry Macau. A lot of respect. He's a good man. It was Henry that invited me and looked after me actually when I got there and to Mexico. And good man, 100%. But you know, he has a certain style and a certain focus, which is not my focus. And I was at that time still political and wanted to change things politically. Yeah, I have to see. But whatever happens, I understand it has to be brought to a close. I'm not going to spend another year, then another year, then another year. You know what's happened with the Pentagon, where General Milley's JAG, his colonel, who was tapped to eventually be the new chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff in 10 years or so, he was being groomed and brought through the system. His sister, Leah, managed to come down and visit, and it was a 2-year roller coaster ride of ridiculous behaviour. Many of you know about it. That's General Milley's JAG. Who was his JAG at the time? He was an Army Ranger, and he was tapped to command all Joint Special Operations Command. And then Leah says, oh, I think my brother lost his command because of us. I said, no, you mean because of you and your cocaine taking and your behaviour in Qatari. Was it because of that? That's a long story. And I do apologise to his family. The guy seems like a very good guy. I didn't behave well either, but I was half mad. My thyroid was fucked. My moods were up and down, and she was a pathological narcissist. But I hope she's okay. I hope you're okay, Leah. I really do. I really hope you're okay. She's got her issues too, but there's always a trauma in childhood somewhere in there. But anyway, what a wild fucking ride that was. But yeah, that's just to give you an example. And then of course we had Fred Smith, Skull and Bones, Joseph Davies. I've been invited out with ministers, Jesuits, Opus Dei, you name it. And here I sit talking to myself. I'm sure there'll be a book. I'm sure there will be a movie. I'm sure there'll be a documentary. Whether I'm still around to see it remains to be seen. Anyway, what a very strange noise. Must be the old guy next door. So, what was I thinking? What was I saying?
F. Scott Fitzgerald, quote, "The test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposing ideas in the mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. One should, for example, be able to see that things are hopeless and yet be determined to make them otherwise. This philosophy fitted on to my early adult life when I saw the improbable, the implausible, often the impossible, come true."
What is our common bond truly? Freedom. Freedom. Without freedom, you can't be a Christian no matter what denomination you belong to. You can't be a Buddhist. You can't own a donut shop. You can't drive from here to Oregon. You can't be an American because that's what it's all about, and that's the only thing that it's all about, nothing else. Nothing else. It's about freedom.